You know, this Biden issue goes to the heart of our republic. If one man, if one family, if a staff at the White House, if an attorney general of the United States, if a hand-picked doctor, if the Democrat Party and their media, they can do to the American people what they did, then what will they stop at? Nothing. Nothing. I want to give this some foundation, some context, and then I want to get into this a little bit. And when we take calls at the bottom of the last hour, I'd be very curious about your input on this. But this was something that I actually discussed in 2022, and I used the word possible dementia. You may recall this, Mr. Producer, on TV, and I was waved off. It was waved off. I was looking for the clip, but I couldn't find it. But I was waved off. No, you can't say that. In any event, it rose, a lot of eyebrows rose, but I could see. I could tell. As I told you, we have a family member who's quite ill with Alzheimer's. But I want to start this now to remind you what I said a year ago on Fox. I did an entire monologue on this. And I'll tell you what's interesting is when I do these monologues here on Fox, on Blaze, it is amazing how events catch up with the monologues. These monologues that I've done on Fox about Qatar, look at the exposure now about what Qatar is and what Qatar has done. Nobody was doing that. Or you might recall March 2017. March 2017, right, Mr. Producer? Is that when it was? No. Yeah. March 2017. We played it on the anniversary, I believe, on how we put together the spying on Donald Trump. Nobody was doing that. But let's lay the foundation for what's being discussed now, well after the fact. And so this is from June. What is the date? I don't remember, Rich. I don't have it in front of me here. June 16, 2024, opening monologue of my Fox show. Go ahead.
We see Joe Biden. We see how he walks. We see how he stares. We see how he gets angry and how he cringes. This issue of dementia is a serious issue. I should know. I've had two people in my family who've had Alzheimer's and one who had moderate dementia. It's not funny. It's very upsetting. It's depressing. To watch somebody deteriorate like this, and in the early stages, they know they're deteriorating. And then how the family has to care for the person, wants to care for the person. It's not funny. You've never heard me do jokes about Joe Biden and dementia. Oh, I'll make jokes about him on other things, but not that. And Potter Stewart said about pornography once, I know it when I see it. I know dementia when I see it. I think I speak maybe not for all, but for many people, many families who've seen this. The telltale signs. It's not a mystery when somebody's deteriorating. Everybody gets old and they have memory issues. They'll forget a name here and there. They'll mix things up. That's to be expected. That's not what we're talking about here. And this is why I'm so disgusted that Joe Biden is running for president, that his family wants him to run for president, that the people around him are like a Praetorian Guard pretending he's as sharp as a tack, that the American media are playing along, in fact, playing defense. It's the United States of America. We're talking about the President of the United States. We're talking about one branch of government that controls whether we go to war or not and what type of weapons we use, among 1,000 other things. You see men in the past, healthy men, in their 50s. You've seen what the presidency does to them. We're the greatest country on the face of the earth, and we are facing China, Russia, North Korea, Iran. We have issues going on in this country that are ripping us apart. You can see what's going on our streets, the crime, the drugs. The anti-Semitism, it's not good enough for a president to do well in a debate or do well in a State of the Union speech, and everybody says, see, he was great for 90 minutes.
And by the way, let me interrupt. This was before the debate. Go ahead.
Many people who have dementia or Alzheimer's, early stages, can do that sort of thing. That is, you look at them and you say, actually, they're doing okay. But they're not doing okay. The job of a president is 24/7. There's a reason Joe Biden has taken vacation 40% of his presidency. There's a reason why he won't have give and take press conferences on a regular basis. There's a reason why his staff walks around him when he goes to and fro from the helicopter. There's a reason why we're seeing on television what we're seeing and we're hearing what we're hearing out of the president's mouth. Because he's not well. Again, I'm not saying that as a joke. He's not well. People have heart disease. I do. People have diabetes. People have all kinds of things. And people have mental health issues. And it's not funny. But it is utterly unconscionable and irresponsible for the largest political party in this country to be nominating somebody for president who they nominated before when he wasn't well, when the vast majority of its members know damn well that what I'm saying is the truth. And the hosts in every news organization in America know what I'm saying is the truth. And the people who've met with him, Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, Nancy Pelosi, who go out and lie for him, they know I'm telling the truth. We have a report from the special counsel, Robert Hur, who was investigating Joe Biden for crimes related to classified information. And he found that he committed crimes. And he did so willfully under the Espionage Act. And didn't do so with presidential protection. He did so when he was a senator, when he was a citizen, and when he was vice president. But he says, I can't charge him because the Department of Justice has taken the position that you can't charge a sitting president. Plus, he says, he's not mentally fit. And so what happened? The special counsel came under a withering attack from the White House, from the Democrat Party, from the leadership of the Democrat Party, from their campaign operatives, from the media. But the man's speaking the truth. He didn't have an issue with Biden as president or being president. He had an issue when he interviewed him for 5 hours. And we have an Attorney General of the United States who will not release the audio. We, the people, we have a right to hear the audio, especially now, when we're making a decision about the presidency. When we see what we see and we hear what we hear, we want the audio. He comes up with some kind of cockamamie privilege. He goes over to the White House. Only a president can assert privilege. Biden asserts privilege to protect his audio. This is a sham. They don't want transparency. The special counsel said Mr. Biden's memory was significantly limited, both during the recorded interviews with the ghostwriter in 2017 and in his interview with our office in 2023. These aren't national security secrets, the audio. The argument that, well, it could affect other investigations. How preposterous. Anybody remember the release of grand jury testimony from Bill Clinton with the cigar? Was that a national security secret? They come up with these lies. He also said, we have also considered that at trial, Mr. Biden will likely present himself to a jury, as he did during our interview of him, as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. That's not good enough for President of the United States. We had a report out of the Wall Street Journal by Annie Linsky and Siobhan Hughes. Now, these two have come under withering attack. They're not Trump supporters. They're reporters. Reporters tend to be Biden supporters. They're liberals, I'm sure. I don't know. But they're under attack because they dared to write an article, behind closed doors, Biden shows signs of slipping. Participants in meetings said the 81-year-old president performed poorly at times. The White House said Biden is sharp and his critics are playing partisan politics. No, the Democrats are going to run somebody for president. How is this partisan politics? Well, he's going to be the nominee. That's the problem. When President Biden met with congressional leaders in the West Wing in January to negotiate a Ukrainian funding deal, he spoke so softly at times that some participants struggled to hear him, according to 5 people familiar with the meeting. He read from notes to make obvious points, paused for extended periods of time, sometimes closed his eyes for so long that some in the room wondered whether he had tuned out. Now, it goes on, and of course, it has the White House pushing back. It has the White House calling people they interviewed to tell them to call the Wall Street Journal back. and tell them actually it wasn't as we thought. This is a scam.
Now, there's another 4 or 5 minutes of this that we will play, if not in the next segment after the bottom of the hour, but all of this was before the debate. And why am I playing this? I'm playing it because we knew, the media knew, the Attorney General knew, the staff knew, his wife knew. And if he hadn't done that debate, he would have been their nominee. And even more, as I keep saying, I said yesterday, the 25th Amendment of the United States Constitution should have been triggered a long time ago by Kamala Harris. She knew, and by that cabinet, they knew. This was a massive, massive cover-up. This is a scandal, the likes of which this nation has never experienced. On top of another scandal, the effort to destroy Donald Trump through lawfare. The nation never experienced that either. But keep something in mind that I keep pointing out. These two scandals were occurring simultaneously. The effort to destroy Donald Trump, to bankrupt him, and the effort to protect Joe Biden, who is mentally disabled. And that's what the ruling class did. That's what the Democrat Party did. That's what the media did.